Don't believe everything your dad tells you.
And like every father, I'm bursting with pride, but Jake's earned it and then some.
Oh. We are recording.
We are
We're
recording.
recording.
Yay. Speech over.
We just needed you to come in and burst with pride and all.
Todd, the IT guy,
It
came
needed
in.
Todd time, right?
No, I'm the gremlin.
The grandma.
Just ask the guys.
All right. Action, we got the road stuff here. Ken, Charlie?
No, I can start out. County Road 21 patching. What this is up there north of the roundabout on County 21 north of Beulah. I don't know, it's probably been over a month ago. It's when they were hauling the coal from AVS over to, I think Leland Olds.
LOS.
The LOS. And one of the trucks, it was icy conditions, went off the road in the south, going south, and rolled the truck. Well, they got East End Trucking to come up here and pull that truck out. But in the meantime, what they did, and I got some pictures here, is when they were putting their anchors down on that wrecker, they actually put holes into our pavement.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's looking to the south, that semi-stone, that's right around the roundabout's gotta be, what's got in between County Road 17 and the
Oh, yeah, I see
roundabout.
it.
Yeah.
The truck was laying on that right side over there, but as you can see in the asphalt there, and in fact further up on the rumble strip, which you can't see, there's a bigger patch up there. But Charlie and Kim and I were saying that it looks like what they did is they kept on inching their way back, or moving their way
Skidding
back,
or
yeah.
something
And then they would put their anchors back down again. Well, it wrecked our pavement. And Charlie from Interstate went out there and gave a quote, and it was like 17,604. And I can have Charlie, if we can go up there and patch them, but is it gonna, it's not gonna be a permanent fix, and then we're
Snowplow's
gonna,
gonna hit it
it's
and
a
rip out.
possibility of ruining that pavement that we just did a few years ago at the expense of a company that didn't, they shouldn't have been putting those, ruining our pavement like that, so Charlie can explain more
Well,
too.
yeah,
because
so
of the cost, why it is that
The
much.
reason it's such a high number is because, well, what we suggest to the county is a mill and a thin lift overlay. You could go in theory, and patch every one of those holes, but that's a cold joint, right? It's no different than a pothole that's starting to develop. It could over time continue to do that and just get worse and worse. And in my opinion, the best way to patch that would be, an overlay of some fashion. So you can do an edge mill, you can go, transverse mill it, before it starts and after it starts, and then just tie it in so it's flush and fill it so it's a smooth transition. That's gonna always be, a homogeneous mat is always gonna be the best solution here. There's a reason, I was telling Ken this, there's a reason that the state spec, for compaction and density control, they offer up some form of alternate to a puck. Cause they'll go out there and cut pucks out of the pavement and they'll test them for density. Well, then they put mix back in there, and over time that just kinda breaks up and.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie, but what ends up happening, because we have temperature swings of 150 degrees per year here.
Yes.
They don't have that in Florida and Texas and Arizona. What ends up happening is water drains into that a little bit. When it
Yeah.
freezes, it pops it out.
Yep.
And then if it's not level, when cars, pickups, trucks go across it, you get that little bounce, so that on either side of these pucks, then you start getting that extra divot. And that's how you end up with washboards on your gravel roads. It's just a lot more serious here. How deep are these?
Kevin, do you
I think
recall?
they're
when you
like
measured
3,
them?
4.
So it's the deeper than a typical mat, I guess.
Yeah.
you would have. So.
My question, I would probably Todd could answer it, is like, why wouldn't we turn this into a bill to
We did.
their insurance?
I turned it over, but they're kind of griping about it, and that's why I brought it forward to the commissioners to see what, because they was like, why can't you just patch them? And, because we did send this bill to them, and they're like,
Yeah.
holy cow, that's a lot of money. But
And I theory, you would hope it comes in less than 17
And we sent it to the towing company, the trucking company,
The
or
towing
Basin,
company.
who did, to
The
towing?
yeah.
Okay.
And it could be possible that the actual, I think it was Rock Solid is the trucking company. If it has to be paid by them, I don't know, they're like their insurance, I would assume.
Well, that would be their fight though, right?
Yeah, that
Well,
would be their argument, I would think.
Mr.
But the
Chairman.
wreckers did it.
This is something that, you know, Ken and Charlie have tried to get them just to step up and do it. This might be something that I get involved in. If you can get that information, we can, we'll go crawl a little bit.
Well, I would say we fix it right and turn
Right.
the bill over to.
Yep.
Cause we just did it a
We
few
need to
years
get
ago.
it fixed quick. And as
Well, and it's a
far as
high traffic
paying for it,
area, and
I'll
it's
crawl at 'em for a while.
And,
And
snow plows, I
sooner or
feel like
later,
a
we're the
snow
ones that are
plow's
gonna
gonna
fix it
hit
again.
that.
right, so
It just has so many.
would this be a single, or would we try to do it when we're doing the mill and overlay north of Hazen?
Well,
It would happen whenever we're like Mercer 27, Illinois.
Okay.
We would just ask the contractor that was awarded that project, hey,
Mhm.
you can pop over here, knock this out for us.
Right. What-
Similarly, how we did last
Right.
year.
But this spring, when we do start doing cracks, then we're gonna temporary patch those things.
Right.
You know, cause we don't want as much water to come in there as
Yeah.
possible, but
Right.
until, cause who
Get
knows when we're
water
gonna
in
get
there and
27
freeze
overlay.
it.
I'm getting at it, our is that we're having a mill and overlay more close in the
Right.
county.
Should save
We'll
us
do
money.
the proper fix at that time, and so they're not gonna get a better deal because we're already gonna have,
Keep in mind, it's already costing the county money.
right,
We've had to look at it. Ken's gotta go out there and temporary patch it. You got
yeah.
my 2 cents anyway.
Well, we have a duty to mitigate damages, and since we're gonna have a crew in that area, it's cheaper for us for mobilization costs to have them just do it while they're there. That meets our duty to mitigate.
So do you need any direction from the commission, or
No.
at this point,
not
I
at
guess
this
they'd handle
point.
it and,
What I'd say is that, do the temporary fix like we're planning on doing. Keep a tab on it,
Right.
talk with the contractor who's gonna be working in that area. And then get the information to me, and then I'll contact them and say, all right, we're gonna do our best to bring this in as inexpensive as possible, but I don't care which one of you writes the check or checks,
Yep.
but it's going to be done, or
mhm.
I gotta put on a suit.
Right.
Okay. All right, what do you got next?
Permission to bid one motor grader. Our unit 104, as of this morning, has 7,180 hours, and the buyback is at 7,500 hours. So we're 320 hours away from hitting that buyback number, and at that point, you have two choices. Either you stop that machine and you earn, I think, 159,100. So, or, like I've been talking with Rick too, we've talked about, and I'm waiting from Steve Meyer to give us a cost estimate on an extended warranty, which would be, what'd he say? I thought he said another 750 hours, and I gotta look, but he's working the numbers on that, so, but in the meantime, you know, we gotta realize if we, to replace this machine, like we say with that buyback of that 159,100, if we lose, if we go past that 7,500, we lose that buyback, and more likely, if we do trade that machine in, we're not gonna get that 159,100. I'm thinking right around that 110, 125 at the most, so we lose the difference of that, okay? And you're looking at, it does not need, we just got, that's the one we got that new V-plow for, so the V-plow is good, and the wing and the standard are good on it too, so it would just be the machine. We don't need this,
But you had mentioned too, though, that to get a different machine, where's
7 months out.
minimum?
Yeah, right. John Deere says 7 months out, and the word is, or Butler Caterpillar is about a year or a little more.
So meanwhile, we're using
it's-
this machine, and we go over these, we're going over the hours then. So what happens to the buyback at that point?
Well, if we go over that, then we lose that buyback. Then I mean, at that point, we're gonna take the cut, we'd have to take the cut of that buyback.
So
The
we have
difference of trading it in.
320 hours, and then we park it.
Yeah, that's the choice. If we wanted to take the buyback, that's what we gotta do, is park it right before 7,500. Because the minute it goes over, it nulls that buyback.
Is this the last blade that we have on a buyback?
No, they all have buybacks.
Oh, they all do?
This is
Okay.
one of the highest buybacks we have, because.
I was gonna say some of
Keep
the-
on going, yeah,
yeah, they were like 30
110,
or-
120, you
okay.
know, and that just goes to show you the market, how, and if we do go past that buyback, we're gonna lose that difference. But, you
Are
know,
we
the thing is,
leasing-
if we lose it, then we're down to them 4 motor graders, you know,
Are we leasing any machines right now?
just one,
Pardon?
just one of them, not this one though. but
Not
just- yeah, just
104,
one. It's
okay.
One of the ones over in Golden Valley.
Well, I guess they're just asking for permission to bid, and then once we got bids back, then we could.
Then we can
And
So you're
then-
not asking for an additional
No,
one, you're
no.
asking to
No,
replace an existing?
Yep, yep,
And we won't really have to make a decision whether,
and then
you know, we'll look at the economics when we get bids back.
Yeah.
and-
by the time, I'll get that numbers on that extended warranty too, you know, so it.
And blades that we have as far as
Yeah, it's been a
reliability
decent
too.
blade.
so.
It's an electrical issue, like I told you, it's got that quality control, like hydraulic hose is rubbing on stuff, but since they rerouted all that, we haven't had any issues, but that was one of the ones that had that, but other than that, you know,
So where are we on our other machines, our other graders? What's the
Like, how many
status?
do we still
well,
owe
we
monies
won't,
on?
like this, you know, like 23, we wouldn't have had any, this one actually was supposed to be in 24, March of 24. But, you know, like, you know, I brought some numbers in for, this blade, since November, I think I can give you the exact date here, I think it was in November of last fall until, as of this morning, we've put 492 hours on that machine. And that's probably on, if I would take all the other machines average too, because those other machines are doing the snow removal too. That's just snow removal, that's not, you know, blading roads, 492 hours. And that's, you know, if we wouldn't have had that, I mean, that'd be less because of all the snow we've had. 490, and it'll be over 500 hours, because they're talking today, and they're talking next week again.
Next week too,
And
yep.
we still got April yet, so we're gonna be way over 500 hours, you know, just for snow removal, since November 21st it was.
I'm sorry, what did you say? 104, is that one of the older machines or newer machines?
That's,
The
it
oldest?
would have to be, you know, March of 24 is when that one, its time was up, but now we're at the hours, so.
How close are we on the other one's hours, do you know?
Oh, we're all right with those, but, I
Okay.
mean, we had some extra, you know, we had pushed the time out too on those, you know, when we bid those.
Is it out, whichever you hit first, the
Yes.
number of hours or that
Yep.
deadline?
Yep.
Well, I guess,
Doesn't
I
have to
don't,
be
I
fixed.
don't have a problem getting the bids, and then
Great. See
when
where-
when we have the bids, it'd be nice to have a breakdown of all the blades we have, just so we
Okay.
can run kind
Yep.
of a quick economic on
We can do that.
the best way to proceed.
And if we're
Um,
looking at 7+ months out, if there's others getting close, we'd probably need to look at.
Great.
Right.
We can-
So as far as the permission to bid, you guys would handle the dates and the advertising or all the
Yes.
quotes and stuff, so.
Thought it was, I think it's the middle of March meeting, we have to have that 21 days or something like that.
Middle of April,
Middle of April, yeah.
yeah. So
We're in the middle of March.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Can't get much, we're in the middle.
Mhm.
So it would be like the 19th,
I think so, yeah, sounds great,
okay,
at 10
Yeah.
o'clock.
Mhm.
yeah. Is there a motion from the commission to give permission to go out for bids on a motor grader?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Gene, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second
I
by
guess I
Rick.
wanna look at, yeah, as
Mhm.
far as the
Yeah.
economics of it.
Yeah, we're just given permission to bid, and once we have the bids in, then we can look at all the economics
Right.
on all the graders and see what.
And we
how
still
should-
have
Timelines for
time.
everything.
We still
We
got
could
time.
wait another, but then it pushes us back if we do, you know, we still have time. That price is good for a little while, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that day. In fact, we've always went the next meeting to make that decision.
Right.
So,
Okay, any other discussion on the motion to go out for bids on motor grader? Seeing none, Jean,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Jamie,
Right.
all vote aye, and that motion passes. Okay, what else you got, Ken?
Next one is West River Telephone, it's a utility permit. It's north of the new Tim Kessler residence, they're gonna bore it. You know, they've worked with West River plenty, so they know what they got.
Okay,
Okay.
is there a motion? Any discussion? Seeing none, Jamie,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Jean,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
all vote aye, that motion passes. All right, alternate structures for bridge,
So, this bridge that we're talking about, that's this one south of the crossroads on Mercer 20.
the state has come out, I mean, they've just recently, I guess, issued a statement, for lack of better terms, on, they're not wanting you to bid projects anymore that have contractual deadlines or completion dates, the following fiscal year, because you're waiting for a box culvert. So, I think what they're trying to do is force more people to look at different alternates, because they're getting, I think they're getting pushback from the Federal Highway Association on all of these monies that they have out there that are not being, simply just not being used yet, because they can't get their hands on a box culvert. So it's not happening that year, or everything's being pushed back a year or whatever. Or, you know, we'll just say that the process takes what seemingly sometimes is a long time, to put it nicely, I guess. So on the, whether it be state review or whatever. So we're on this particular location, you know, we've been looking into alternates. We checked into culverts, we checked into, you know, reinforced concrete pipe, corrugated metal pipe. What size would they need to be? Is it feasible? I believe 3 96-inch pipes was what we looked at as a minimum. I think corrugated metal, you know, they have 25-year design life, as opposed to, obviously, pros and cons benefit, a steel archway. What we liked about this in our conversations with, their lead times are 5 to 7 weeks for this, whereas a concrete box, say 6 to 9 months. And the cost, of course, is the other big benefit. It's significant. Keep in mind, this project has federal aid tied to it. We still haven't got information back from them. The plans are still in state review. We're gonna end up actually revising them and adding this alternate in there, so that, with the hopes and idea that this thing, obviously when it bids, I'm losing faith that it's gonna bid in May, but if it bids in June, we need a contractor to bid it and say, yep, we can build that, and then order the steel archway at this point and try to install it this fall. Because if that's not happening, then we're waiting for a box culvert, and that's not until next year, is what they're already saying. You know, you'd be lucky to get one at this point anymore. So, Contact Engineered Solutions, the manufacturer we visited with on it, you know, I believe you're talking about like a $900,000 box culvert compared to like a $200,000 archway. You know, it's significantly cheaper, right?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't include labor, 500,000, 400,000. I guess what I'm looking for today, and I feel like I know the direction I was given at, I think it was several meetings ago now, was to look at alternates, but the commission to give grant approval to include this thing in here as an alternate, because we're gonna have to essentially update the environmental categorical exclusion documents for the state for this grant money, send it back to them and say, hey, it shouldn't impact the 404 permitting, that's all in. We're still waiting from the Corps for that. The plans would be updated to include the alternate, and I can almost guarantee 90% confident that if the state sees this alternate in here, they're gonna say, this is our preferred one, and this is what we want you guys to do. Let's have them getting box culverts. They're not
So-
even gonna care about the box anymore.
So the difference between this and the box culvert is, I mean, how come we didn't go with this before, I guess is what I'm asking.
Good question. You know, I don't know. These were, 9 times out of 10, the state wants you to use concrete box culverts on their bridges.
Oh, okay.
So they, you know, they didn't ask us to look at alternate solutions until
I can attest to what Charlie's saying. The state
it was,
10, 15 years ago decided all these bridge replacements need to be done with this wonderful box culvert. And then nobody's making the doggone things.
yeah.
One
So it's
question I've
just
got,
as good of a structure, and just, it'll hold as much tonnage, and it'll do what we need to do?
Probably more.
It structurally, as far as limits, it's gonna be, it's gonna be essentially the same as a box culvert, limitless as far as that goes, as far as weight, you're not gonna have a weight restriction.
Okay.
The argument, that as to whether or not it's a better structure than a box culvert, concrete box culvert, my only concern is the steel part of it, right, over time, but what I like about this solution is it has concrete footings. So the steel archway comes down onto concrete footings, those bear and rest on the soil. So that corrosivity, the soil interaction is not occurring with the metal, it's with the concrete, which is what you want,
well.
right? So I think you're gonna have while it's not the most ideal product, box culvert all day long, in my opinion, is the most ideal product for this solution, but it's very close, I would argue, because at this point, all you're concerned with is water flow on the steel arch, the sidewalls of the steel archway, which, I mean, it's not always flowing full anyway, so.
What's the maintenance on these that we're looking at? They have to be repainted every 5, 10 years or something?
No, I wouldn't, I mean, I guess a guy could look at, coating it again after, like you suggest, 5, 10 years, you could look at that to see if you see any rust that you're concerned with. Other than that, from what I can tell, it's pretty much the same, it's essentially the same as a box culvert, which is next to nothing.
And the arch will bear more weight than a box culvert, just
Mhm. It just
simple
seems like the
physics.
right way to go.
What's
We-
the
we need to
difference
get
on
that.
That's our suggestion to the commission, is to move forward with that.
What's
So-
the, no, you're fine. What's the difference on longevity of this steel archway versus the 3-pipe system?
3 pipes.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with the pipes is we can't get concrete pipes. Concrete pipes have the same lead time as a box culvert. So if you go with a corrugated metal pipe, your design life is 25 years. That is what
Right, what's the archway?
That, I would suggest it's probably longer, but I can't tell you, because we have that concrete that is, I think you're gonna have less issues, corrosive issues with this product than you would with, obviously,
That are covered by dirt all the way.
yeah, than you would with a culvert, metal culverts. Because the bottoms of those are metal.
In your studies, and like we talked earlier today, the soil type and stuff, is there bedrock here on this one for this concrete, or do you put pilings in these and stuff?
No, not on these, no. There's no need to.
This concrete sits on, will they sink or anything?
it spreads the weight just like the foundation
Of a
footings
home, yeah.
on a home or
Yeah.
this building we're sitting in.
It'll be
No.
buried, but it will not be nearly to the extent, we're not gonna, not like a bridge where you go try to reach bedrock. No, this is not that application.
These footings will carry the
Yes.
weight that we're gonna design
Yep.
for.
And the soils in the area too, I think, to our knowledge, there's nothing there that leads us to believe they're highly corrosive anyway.
No,
So
it's-
I think it's a good application, I guess, is what I'm getting at for this situation. And I wish it was something that they would have recommended or allowed us to do from the get-go, because I think we're in a much different position right now than we are. But moving forward, right, keeping our eyes on the prize and still utilizing this money that they set aside and earmarked for us on this project, we need to essentially update the plan. We already asked our hydraulics team to update the hydraulics report, because they're gonna need that as well. We're double checking whether or not we have to have another second in-field meeting with the district. We're checking on these things because we don't wanna sit around, I guess, and wait. So if the opportunity arises where we can get this in front of them, then it's a matter of us keep poking the stick.
So
I mean that in the nicest way possible.
archway, that's, on the sides, there's nothing vertically in the middle?
Correct. And the way these are prefabricated, so in theory, we're paying for a little bit larger arch than we need to in order for the hydraulics to work out, because I'll be honest, my hydraulics guy already ran the regressions on these, and he's looked at them. But it's such a cheaper product, and they only allow for a 4-foot overburden, okay? So we have 16 feet from the deck there to the channel bottom right now, so we need one that's 12 feet tall. We don't need an arch to be 12 feet tall, according to hydraulics. The headwater analysis, it presents it complicates issues with the headwater, because the water just flows right through it, it's not being held up by the structure or the embankment. So we had to size one that still kept us underneath, our velocities below 10 feet per second, so we didn't scour and all these things that the state requires as well. Just good engineering fundamentals on that side. But this particular one, it was like 33 or 34 feet wide and 12 feet tall, I think. The arch, the
I
opening.
just kind of put together a quick doing, is this correct?
Yep.
So, to answer the questions, he's throwing riprap on here. Some pretty heavy-duty footings that this attaches
Concrete.
to.
Yep.
And then the dirt will go across this. This is actually an ancient design from the Roman days. By the way, the Romans are the ones who perfected concrete. What we thought was a poor mix, they're finding now that they were using back then is even better than we have nowadays with our ash and chemicals. They use chunks of lime, so when it would crack, the lime would liquefy from just moisture and fill in the cracks. But with this here, that's going to take a lot more weight than just a box like this, where you've got weight coming down the top of the box like they've drawn there. Like Charlie said,
And-
the state fell in love with box culverts, and this is something that was used back in my days in construction. And some of those are still standing 40, 50 years later.
I just gotta keep my concerns with the commerce that's gonna be used.
This will hold the
Yep.
weight, like I said,
And like-
I personally believe, and I think the engineering figures and the numbers of physics, this arch is going to be stronger than that box culvert.
I get
And
that.
half the price.
I understand that again, but, like I said, I gotta keep in mind what the road is being mainly used for, so we're looking at weight, height, and width. And so now the arch is on the side, so you'll be 34-foot width. What's the interior width would be?
As you're driving down the road, that's the longitudinal width.
The longitudinal width,
Of
okay.
it is 34 feet, because that's the when you cut that thing in half and look at it from the side, that
Yep.
span is
Yeah.
34 feet.
Okay, how about,
Yeah, so with that,
Yeah, so put this back up to help
it's gonna be essentially
visualize.
34 feet across.
This is your road going
Footing to
across the
footing.
yep,
top,
okay,
and then from here to the other side is 34 feet, you said, Charlie?
No,
No.
those are gonna be, I believe,
indefinite.
55, 60,
Be a
something.
definite, so the figure. for
Because
30
you
feet
match
is-
the end slopes and stuff, and they have wing walls at the,
Yeah,
and everything
And
else.
this is the one you were talking about earlier, about the wing walls and the footings and everything will be riprap and
Yes.
all that too,
Yeah.
so.
the wing wall.
So we don't need to worry about erosion, washing the footings out and all that, so.
Well, right, correct, that's why you implement those measures, yep.
Wing walls would come off.
Can we get the problem?
Yep.
So what do you need from the commission?
Charlie, first, you said 5 to 7 weeks on this, but are they available? Can we get them?
The rep we met with just recently at the county conference, darn it, the one I missed. I think you were
North
at it.
Dakota Association of County Engineers?
I think so, we met with a contact there, and they said they're available now.
Okay.
5 to 7
Well, just so
weeks
that
is the
we
lead
bid
time.
it and the state accepts it, and then we're
Yeah.
where
I
we're
don't-
at with the box culvert, and again, it's not.
Let me answer it for you this way, the unfortunate part of where we're at right now is, I think we're gonna find ourselves in a situation that it's not the structure, the supply chain issue that's gonna potentially be problematic, it's gonna be a contractor that has availability at this point. That's what that's the concern. On top of that, getting the state to get things done for us, I guess, I can say that nicely, but, yeah. So I just need all I'm asking the commission is confirmation to move forward with including this in the bid package and resubmitting that to the state.
So we'll still have the original one, but this will be an alternate
alternate.
one for hopefully we can actually get this and get it in place before snow flies next year
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah, and
Okay.
to recap, the limiting factor right now is state review. We can't do anything until we have.
It is.
Yeah. so-
Yeah, we're still waiting on stuff that we've submitted to them. And while we have made very good progress on the right-of-way, we are still waiting on one individual to sign all the documents that you guys approved the last time. We've attempted to reach out, we have not heard back, we're gonna continue to poke that stick as well, but
So
Okay.
the sooner you get approval from us to go for the alternate, the better, so that way we can get stuff rolling and hopefully
Right,
the
to
state
get
can
stuff
look at it.
in, yes, yep. We've already taken the liberty to look at the hydraulics to make sure, because we needed to figure out, okay, what does this thing even look like? Is it even an option?
Mhm.
You know, based on your guys' direction to us a couple meetings ago to look at the options. So that's what we've done. And culverts, no. While they're an option, yes, they're not your best option by a long shot with something like this available. This is by far your best alternative, in our opinion.
I'll make the motion then that we proceed with
The alternate.
the alternate that Charlie has presented to us here.
Okay, motion by Rick, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Liza. Any discussion? Seeing none, Rick,
I vote aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Jamie? Jean?
Aye.
I'll vote aye, that motion passes.
Okay. That covers the alternates.
Okay. And we had delinquent account on here, but we crossed that off, so. And then we had load restrictions back on there. Was there any comments or concerns on load restrictions we need to talk about, or?
What roads are we considering to put to 6-ton?
Well, it'd be, I wish I'd have that sheet here, but we did, the one that was approved at the last meeting, it's pretty much, the tow from the roundabout, that goes to Coyote Creek, stays at 8-ton, 105.5. And that's what it is year-round.
The one, that's 7-ton per axle.
Yeah, get down to the 6-ton, or what we have. And I talked around to some of the other surrounding counties. McLean County, the same thing. Dunn County, they 6-ton, but then you gotta, like, you and I were talking, Rick, they do a lot of cement treating. How much money they get a month, it's crazy from the oil thing, but anyway, that's what they do. Stark County, I talked to those guys with the 105.5 on the gravel.
Well, of them protecting their,
Up to 80,000. So like what we do during our or during the regular time, it's like I say, McLean County, Oliver County is what we do. You know, like some are say even 6-ton up to 80,000 gross, but sooner or later you're gonna run out of axles when you know. So, I mean, there's choices out there, but you know, a guy's gotta try to protect what we got, that 4 to 5 week period there, then they'd go back up to that 7-ton, 80,000. But, so that's what we've been using for, ever since I got here, was a 6-ton, 65,000, so 12,000 pounds per axle, up to 65,000 gross. You know, and that's up to you guys, if you wanna change that. We used to have Lyle signs down in Jamestown, within 4 days we'd have them. But now this other out of Bismarck, we're looking at a month and a half to 2 months to get decals made to put over the top of the signs. If we could change it.
is that 3D?
I think, yeah.
3D
that's what it-
specialty?
Yeah, Dakota Fence, yep.
So what are the signs we have now? 6-ton,
Well,
65?
6-ton for axle, and then right below that, it says 65,000 GVW. And then the other ones, you know, during the off is 7-ton per axle or 80,000 GVW. My recommendation is we just, probably, since we did it, keep it, but like I say, we can revisit this on next year, so we could go up to that, and then we would have enough time for budget to get those decals made. And I like I say, we've talked about it too, the 80,000, I mean,
Well, it
you're still
just-
not, you're gonna run out of axles.
It depends on how you wanna do it. I mean, in theory, the 80,000 is irrelevant because you got your axle weight listed. So, I mean, it just depends on how you wanna do it.
Right, I'd be more comfortable just, you know, even if we went 6-ton per axle than on a multi-axle vehicle, because if you follow the North Dakota DOT, then, it's not really a problem if you're at 6 tons per axle.
Right.
Right.
Which would get you on a 6-axle vehicle up to 72,000 pounds at least, which, you know, it does give you a little bit more than the 65. And I'd be, I would be more acceptable to that.
Right, I would too.
You're talking axle weight listed, yeah.
Like
Right.
to take off
Yep,
the
yep.
total.
Right.
Take off the
Well, you
gross.
go down to the 80,000 still, but you would.
Leave the 6-ton and go with, eliminate the 65 gross.
That's
Right.
what they're saying, yeah, yeah.
Cause like the state, I got the state one, for a single axle, they say not to exceed 12,000. For a tandem axle, not to exceed 12,000 per axle, and then 10,000 pounds per axle. If you have 3 axles or more, on divisible loads that make gross weight of an axle grouping may not exceed 30,000 pounds. But their gross vehicle weight is 80,000, it can't exceed 80,000,
Right.
yeah.
Are you talking during load restrictions?
During
Yes,
load
yep,
restrictions,
yep, yep. So they would jump, 7 ton, and then they go up to the 105.5.
But that's, like you said, a 4-week period of every year, you're
Right.
not
And
worried
it's
about
out.
your signs necessarily for
Right.
that.
I don't think we'd have to worry too much about anyone that has more than a 7-axle vehicle anyway.
Right.
I guess we can address that if we would get to that. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Because majority are only 5-axle
Right.
vehicles out there. Our farm to market people are running 5, few have 6, very few have 7. And then you're even restricted to your pusher anyway. Most pushers are only 12 anyway. So you couldn't go over that 12 to begin with,
Right.
well, when you're trying to run state legal anyway.
Sure.
So, no changes for this year, but we'll maybe just do axles in the future, just to make it easy?
Yeah, I suppose.
And two, on, if Terry's enforcing it, we could, I guess that's up to you guys, When Terry's enforcing it, if he does weigh someone, do we, even though the sign says it, but if he would run in, are gonna be that leeway, or do we wait till I don't know, cause the sign says that, but for
Right.
now.
Well, even then, I think you'd still have to run the equation on it,
Right,
based on truck type and axle count.
right.
You know, and the other thing you gotta remember too, is more than just our producers too. I mean, we need, I don't mind helping them out, but I mean, with the other problem, we got rig moves or anything else that are going on with other, wind tower guys come in, they're using our roads, there's other people out there. that-
Sure.
Those are even,
But,
But they're actually.
Extraordinary
But I
circumstances.
mean,
Yeah.
there's more than just one in the equation.
but you gotta remember though, too, Rick, during frost laws, the only roads we actually give permits on is for like going to Coteau or the ABS, and those other ones, that 105.5, and they still gotta meet the axle weight, even though they're over on gross weight, they got to get that permit. But remember that road that goes by you, when there was, when they had that carbon dioxide thing, they had with that rig move, they had to go in front of the commissioners for approval, and then they put that big bond on there, and that was the same thing with Beulah Bay one for that water intake thing.
Yeah.
So that's gotta be, I can't give them that, you guys as a commission have to give that permission, that's why I went with that
Well, I
bond.
mean, where you're saying, then I'm guessing, so I get this correct, then it's like, you got a truck, say those wind towers there, we got 6 of them down there in Mercer County, right on the county line down there. They'd come off of the, interstate at 80,000 or
Okay.
105, and
80.
they come up here at 80,000. I
Not
would,
gonna- Right, they would have to.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're essentially, the tower's right across, moving over there, but.
Never, since I've been here, we haven't had, the only thing.
There's more than, we got lots of scenarios to look at all the time.
Right.
Generally during the load restriction time, frost going out, they're not doing the heavy hauls.
Right.
That's just kind of an industry common sense standard, that means something that your total gross weight is gonna be 150,000 for total gross vehicle weight. They don't wanna do that when the frost's coming out.
The only time it does happen, that's the thing.
It's during regular times.
Well,
and
I
then
mean,
we have
there's
procedures in
issues
place.
we've had where it has happened because of,
Well, no, it
Timing.
depends if, in that,
extenuating, maybe they have to move something from the plant with then they get a permit and they,
Right.
Correct.
They axle up.
yeah.
But we've had it where like Southwest Water has a water break up there, that's our electrical deal, they gotta go, they gotta fix it, so.
you know,
Okay, and then Charlie was talking about, and they don't even do the bonding.
That's what
So,
I talked to David.
yeah, so we did, that should be our method, but industry standard in the other counties is that they just base it on the axle weight. And then it's a overweight approval through the commission,
Right, yeah.
so.
Time to do the signs.
The only thing I was gonna mention is for the next meeting, when do you guys start looking at your budgets?
for next year, when you guys start that process?
They should probably start talking to the department heads here in April, and I would say we'd start commission side, probably looking at it beginning of May. Cause
Okay.
usually we have to have it approved
Yep.
by mid-June.
Because I'll bring a breakdown and update of the monies that we've talked about. Probably, I'm sure you guys feel ad nauseum, to about, with an update. From Mercer 27, it's actually worked out really well for us, the way that ended, which kind of surprised us. So there's things at the next meeting or something, so.
Jamie, did you wanna talk about minimum maintenance signage here or in a different area?
Here's fine, I guess. I've been talking with Gene and this has come up, that was signed a minimum maintenance after a residence was put up, after it's on a school bus route. It's now affecting some busing services, and so, I guess I had talked to Todd, we're kind of asking to have it removed.
Yeah.
I talked to Ken, we talked to Todd, I think you talked to Todd, but we would like it removed if it's possible. I had the auditor's office look back at meeting minutes. We cannot find since October of 2014 where it was approved to put up the minimum maintenance sign, so,
Since we have a residence on that road, we couldn't have declared it. Since that residence was approved, we can't have that be a minimum maintenance road to someone's residence.
and it is much, the road is in much better shape than it was initially in 2014. There's DOT maps, plot books, yeah.
Last night I spoke with the contractor who did the concrete work for that residence. And by his recollection, the gentleman who built, it's my understanding the county did not improve the road. The developer was required to do that. So that was done, and it was built to county. And the road was when they started, back before this became a residence, before the building permit was approved, it was a dirt road. It was just a section line road.
It did go to a residence in the early, like, 70s and before,
Right.
because there was another residence down there, and then after that, it went to dirt road,
Right.
so.
But since the county approved putting a house there, we can't make that section line that is now a road that's frequented, especially since it's a bus route. There
And
are
that-
restrictions
that is in
on
the
when
century
and where
code.
you can place minimum maintenance. And this road does not qualify to be placed as a minimum maintenance. And the digging that was done in the last 2 days indicates declaring it a minimum maintenance road was never done by the commission, so that sign probably should not have ever been up.
Okay, so we just need to take the sign down?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, anything else for the road guys?
Just a side note on that, I will take the sign down, but I would like to have, Charlie, and when the snow does come off, or whatever, to go down there, because that was never a certified road by anyone after that residence, that abandoned farm
Well,
on the
here's
south
the deal.
side. So that's what because if you go down there and you get on those inslopes, they're steep, and there's some parts of those roads that are 14-foot top. That is not a county spec road. You cannot say that, Tom. And if you can
I haven't
find
been
me-
out there, I'm just telling you what I.
Okay, I'm just saying, and I'm just telling you.
Once
now, too,
again,
that
Ken.
We need to go out there and look at it when the snow comes off.
When
But
I'm
it's no,
speaking-
there's
for the
others,
safety of
Okay,
the bus.
yeah.
If people are speaking to you, Ken, listen, you got 2 ears, 1 mouth.
Okay,
We've had
Yeah.
this discussion. Here's the deal. We've got a residence that this county, through planning and zoning, approved to be put there. It is a bus route. You cannot make that minimum mandatory, or minimum maintenance. End of discussion.
Excuse
Yeah.
me, this county did not approve that, that house is not in Mercer County, that house is in Oliver County.
Well,
Okay,
This county didn't approve anything.
they did approve the road down there.
No, they didn't. The
It's in
commissioners
it's in the
were-
commission
In
meetings.
2014, Jessica told, Dan Green came in here.
Yep,
And
it's
asked
right
that,
here.
right? Okay, and then he said that the county would build the road. He got promised by a commissioner.
Yep.
At that time was Frank Bitterman.
Yep, it's
And
right
then
here.
Jessica sat here and said that it's not the county's responsibility to build that portion of the road after that farmstead in Mercer County, okay? So the commissioners gave Dan the permission to build up the road. But and he has done that, he has hauled gravel on that, but it's not a county spec road, like I said, there's only a 14-foot top. To say it's a county spec road And that's why I say, you cannot, you don't have to, if Charlie wants
It's
to go
more
in
so
this
the issue
spring,
that the sign was placed I'm
Okay.
aware.
right, and Ed Shopper was before that. And they both said that that sign was minimum maintenance.
That sign was either side of
Okay.
it.
This sounds like something
Okay.
that we don't need to take
Irregardless,
up here.
We'll take the sign down.
So, take
And
the
then
sign
in the
down.
spring, we'll go down there and we can look at that. Their choice. I'm not telling them that they can't go down there. That's the bus
It's-
driver's choice.
I agree, but that's what they're using as an excuse.
Take
Yeah,
down,
we'll
that's all
take it down
for me,
today.
yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
all right.
Texting your wife.
Jim?
Gotta cut them off, Travis.
I know.
Uh-oh, what do you wanna carpet your office? What are you carpeting
Just
your
the
office? What's that?
Just the walls.
Just the wall?
Interesting decorative choice. Oh, is this the same as from before, Jim? Is this the same as before, or is it different? Okay.
Anybody not familiar with the area downstairs?
I guess we had talked about some updates last year and the commission decided just to do part of it. We just did the dispatch last year. I had Interiors by Design, this, quote again. And, it did go up about 7%, you know, through the years, so. I was just wondering what this stuff, reason I'm asking is in the Emergency Operations Center, that carpeting, wallpaper, et cetera, that's original yet from 80, somewhere 1980. And in Carmen's office, it's also the same. It's never been updated, and I just thought it looks like Carmen's gonna be moving out in a couple weeks, and we're gonna have a transition period here, and we're gonna reshuffle things around according to talking with Terry, and just wondering if this might be a good time to update things while we're in
Where
this
are we at with-
transition.
Budget-wise for you.
I have 80,000 in building improvements this year.
This is
Still
roughly
remaining?
32,000, what's your,
Right.
I haven't spent any yet.
Okay.
so.
this was about 30, little under 32,000.
Yeah,
Let's just say 32.
well, it's, if you do, okay, it's 1 through 4 listed on this sheet is, number 1 is the Emergency Operations Center itself, that meeting room down there. Number 2 is, that would be Carmen's and the dispatch center, which is connected to that. Number 3 is the little kitchen area down there, which still has sheet vinyl in it, and it's pretty bad. And number 4 is the bathroom down there off the Emergency Operations Center. Those 4 are just in the basement there. And I added those up, and that comes out to be 16,424.54. And I just had him leave, 5 through, it should be 5 through 7 there. Because we had talked about it last year, but we decided not to do it. Just so you could see it, I don't know if we'd wanna do some of that too this year or not. Number 5, again, is that bathrooms by the treasurer's office and the break room in the old courthouse here. That flooring is still original in there. It should be number 6, the next one, but that's the pink and blue bathrooms over here in this conference room. There's pink walls and pink floor and all that, which would be,
Yeah, good.
and the last one would be to do the flooring in there. Number
These
6
bathrooms
should be
right
that.
here.
Yeah, they're right over here, and this used to be the old jury room. So,
Do you have any concerns using this much of your budget?
As far as I know, not right now, no.
Okay.
So 5, 6, and 7, we could delay those for now?
That's your choice. These are the projects, when we did this expansion, it was decided to leave them, and we'll do them at a later date, because we couldn't afford them as part of the project, so.
Well,
I just wanna keep them,
just to be the advocate here, or the 2 bathrooms over here, do they get used that much?
no,
I mean,
very,
Do you care if they're pink?
very rarely, so.
Days-
Them 2 bathrooms do get,
Pardon?
They
in the
get
old
main-
courthouse here, but over here, they do get used quite a bit. You
Well,
know.
I mean, but they're not, it's not, I've been in the bathroom over here, not bathrooms, but the men's
Weren't
bathroom.
you supposed to?
Yeah. Gotta be careful, we even have the sheriff in here now, so. But it depends on what I identify as too, but we're not gonna go down there. I've used this one over here and, you know, it doesn't seem in terrible shape,
Right,
so,
it's not falling apart or nothing, but it's just,
yeah.
It's heavy use.
It's
when we have
dated.
big meetings and I have jury trials.
I've got one question on that.
Yep.
Maybe you guys, I know we've put like $40,000 away. Is that earmarked for another project too?
yeah, that was part of what was left over. We decided not to do these
That's-
projects last year.
Yeah. Is that,
That was
is that
left
part of
over.
your, that's not part of the 80,000 that you're,
No, this is this year's budget.
okay.
This isn't in the building fund, this is actually in my building and grounds
Right.
budget. It's in line item.
I was just
Wonderful.
wondering if we stuck away, if that was something that we wanted to use, or if it,
Facility is coming in the next commission meeting to discuss some of that with,
so that would be something that would be a lot more higher priority than
Yes.
the pink bathrooms
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
One question, Jim, on these bids.
Yep.
The gentleman who's a friend of mine, fantastic guy, had been
Yeah.
involved in scouts. But I had no idea he was bidding it, so there's no concern about insider dealing in any way, shape, or form. But when Joe gave you these prices, are these individual so that if they do them all, that's the price, and it's gonna change if they don't do all of them?
No, we can do 1 or 2 or whatever we
Oh,
wanna do. We
seven.
can separate it, and the only thing that isn't included in your, you see on the bottom, is the travel and per diem. You know, they will charge for trips out here too on top of that, but they try to minimize it to, you know, depends how much we do, how many trips there is.
Yeah.
That's why it's kinda left open right now.
CA standards,
There's,
because we are having the public use it, but is there other bathrooms
I
that are
don't know
ADA?
his room per se, there's no ADA access to there, just so you know.
Right.
Pink bathrooms.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how that rule's written, but I think if we'd have qualifying ones within the building, I
Within
think
a
we'd be fine.
certain
but-
distance,
In place, if I'm remembering, long before EDA was.
but Rehab to it,
Rehab,
yeah.
then
But
you
we-
do removing toilets or
Yeah.
doing something, then that's, okay.
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 Okay, well, I mean, what does the commission wish to do? Like, he's got 80,000, we're at about 32 if we do all of it, plus, you know, the mileage for whatever projects we do in the per diem, but,
Well, I would say 1 through 4, I don't know what,
Just so
The
you,
other discussion I would add to that too is, every time we wait and come back, the price goes up too.
yeah.
Right.
there's around, but there is wallpaper down, just for discussion, is either try to remove the wallpaper or paint right over the wallpaper, so. I don't know, that was my thoughts.
Isn't the wallpaper like coming up though, like can it?
It is in
maybe
some
you-
spots.
Yeah, re-glue it and then paint it?
Put some bubble gum behind it and paint over it.
But that's
It's
original.
redneck, that's how I'd do it.
That is original too, so.
okay. Gene's thinking 1 through 4, Rick?
2, whatever.
Mhm.
I wanna do, but I think we should, if we got the money, we should probably get it done. If we wanna wait with this thing, do the minimum and at least see what this boiler project comes, cause that's a lot higher on the list than
Liza?
I think that we should do 1 through 4, and then we really need that to be operable.
Okay. Jamie, any concerns?
Agreed with Liza and the
Okay.
rest.
Kind of the consensus is to start with 1 through 4. Is there a motion to approve Jim going?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Jamie, is there a second?
Go ahead.
I'll second.
Seconded by Jean. And we'll see what the boiler comes in, and then we might add to it, so.
Okay.
Aye.
Jean,
Aye.
Rick,
I vote aye.
Liza,
Aye.
I'll vote aye, that motion passes. We'll start with that, and we'll see what core
Okay.
facilities has for the.
All right. Sam, I know these copies are kinda, they're crooked. I don't know why it printed that way, but Sam's got a little better copy.
So I'll just initial the first 4.
Yeah, circle them in initial, and then I'll let him know that we wanna weeks to get the product, and then the next week probably he could get here to,
Installation.
so
Okay.
that's what we're kinda looking at, so.
Jim, also the auction house stuff is done, so we just need to notify whomever for utilities.
Yeah.
Oh, it is done?
Yep.
Okay, good.
That's what Jim asked me when I came in the door, so.
Yeah, we went over, Sam went over that earlier, so just need to notify whomever for utilities
Transfer of utilities.
Oh,
to chip them
did I do that, or?
We just don't wanna pay them.
We don't want, yeah.
You would think Chip and.
I'll
Okay.
send out
When-
an email to the city and,
What's
Okay,
that?
perfect.
they were,
Thank
they
you, Sam.
were in discussion, I mean, Chip about special, so I'll just verify or confirm with the city that we should no longer
Utilities
be a
should be.
big, yeah.
Thanks, Sam.
Do you,
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, Craig?
Okay, I guess I just got two things I want to discuss with you. I want to give, first I'll give a little update on what's occurring with extension and some of the concerns that I feel to move forward here. With extension, I guess, been busy throughout the winter. It's been a busy winter, challenging winter with all the weather conditions that we've had, but we've completed all our pesticide trainings now, so all the applicators that need to get recertified for that are done. We just finished our West River judging contest here a couple weeks ago. Had 367 participants compete in all the different contests that were available for that. So that's a big event for the county that gives a lot of exposure to Mercer County. Completed our advisory council meeting last night. Have done a lot of different webinars and seminars that way. So that's kind of what we've been busy with as far as programming goes. Concerns that I have that maybe you guys as a commission have discussed and maybe you haven't is with all the significant snowfall and extremely cold conditions that we have, I am expecting higher than normal mortality death rates for our livestock producers throughout the county. Also, I know that their resources, their personal resources are dwindling with the amount of personal snow removal that they've had to do and things like that. It's probably the most snow I've seen in the 20 years that I've been, well, not 20 years, 19 years as of today. My anniversary date is today, 19 years today, that I've seen. My concern is that there is going to be significant, depending on what the weather conditions do, there's going to be significant water. Everybody is hoping for a slow melt on your guys' side of it because that is going to reduce flooding, but it's going to be just a nightmare for livestock producers if we get a slow melt. Lamb are in their calving areas and in their corrals and in their where their hay is accessed now is going to be extremely difficult for them to get if it's a slow melt. So those two contradict each other. So just make sure that, I'm not sure what the commission can do, but if things don't go totally 100% correct here in the next 2 months, it's going to be an issue. And the disease potential is gonna go up as far as diarrhea issues and coccidiosis issues and viral issues and all these things. So it could be a very difficult calving season for our producers. So assistance may be available, plus our feed resources, I'm a little concerned, they're burning through it a lot faster than more because it's been extremely cold. Is labor is going to be short, and there is going to be extremely amount of fence to fix this year, a lot of it. So that's gonna be another stress too. So when they want to try to turn cattle out into pasture to try to get them on some type of dry ground, that may not be feasible because there might not be fence to support them.
Or even
So those are some
supply for
concerns.
fences too, right? Isn't
What?
barbed wire super hard to come by right now? Or is
It's
that
not
much
as
better?
bad as it was, but the
Oh.
cost is still extremely high. So the supply is a little better than it was a couple of years ago, but the cost is still high. No, there's no doubt about it, so they're gonna be fighting that. So just some things to be considered, because who knows what'll happen. It's kind of an isolated issue. North Dakota is kind of in the same boat, South Dakota is in the same boat. I'm not sure what other states are, but if there is any federal assistance or state assistance that is going to be needed to be requested, it's probably gonna have to be requested from a local standpoint first to try to get some support, whatever that may be down the road. So just something to keep on the radar, because everybody's talking about flooding and all that, and understandably slow, want a slow melt faster and all that, which difficult if it pertains, so that's that. If there's any question, I just wanted to get that on the commission's radar. Try to keep you up to date with the concerns that we may have on that sector. That sometimes, don't want to say is forgotten, but gets put on the back of the radar sometimes.
Well, I guess like you said, not a lot that we can do is try to help. This winter has been hard for everybody. And rather than, like this road that we were talking about, whatever we can do to help clean some of these roads, help some of these people that, I got a few calls too from producers. Can you just wing the sides out once, because I can't get in or out? That road, my opinion, I would, but I'd like to see us be able to help some of these as much as we can, rather than just store it all year round, not just, when they need us, we need to be there too.
Another concern that I'm having, depending on what the weather conditions is water flow, as far as all gonna work to, when does it start backing up into once the time comes, it's gonna be a daily assessment of how it's all playing out, and it's gonna be individual case-by-case scenarios of who's in worse shape than others. So the next thing is my part-time secretary sent in her resignation effective as last Monday, March 13th. So another part-time secretary's position for Mercer County. I'm not totally sure if that's something that I need to go in front of the commission for or not, but I wanted to be better safe than sorry. So that's what my request would be, is to go forward and be able to start advertising for that position.
I don't know, he needs our permission, does he? Because he had the position, he just wants to backfill it.
No, he doesn't need
As a department head, he can move forward.
Yeah, I don't think we need it, but I know you're gonna need that person
definitely
come in
will
the
need
summer.
I'm hoping to find somebody before before fair season starts.
Yeah,
So as long as it fits within your budget.
within the budget, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Then definitely.
I just, I don't do a lot of hiring in my office. Missing something.
Are you at liberty to say who your part-time secretary?
okay. The update.
Okay.
And happy anniversary.
Yeah, happy
Oh,
anniversary.
thank
Happy anniversary.
Okay.
I don't know, I guess, it's, one of the things with the Fair Board, I mean, we've talked about this, and it's just on the radar, and I don't know if we can even do this or anything. At some point, we're talking about adding maybe a secretary, getting bigger and bigger, and one thought process was if they're gonna hire somebody at this part-time discussion,
There's no
that's gotta
discussion.
go into it, but
The
yeah.
general answer is yes, there's no legal prohibition. We'll have some hoops to jump through, but it makes sense.
As a part-time secretary's position for extension, obviously that comes through the commission funding. The Fair Board
Would be through the
is,
board.
is whatever you want to call it, a part of the commission, but yet they actually they get general mill funds, but yet they have their own funds too as an organization, so how does that all?
And that was,
Positions, those are all the details. And if you're working part-time there and part-time here, yeah, we got some details we'd have to work out, but it can be done.
that was the
Okay.
question, because I know there's gonna be where the funding is gonna go, how we gotta do it, but can we do this, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Before we jump through all the hoops and tell us we can't do it, I just wanted to be able to, we can work on the logistics of it, you know?
It'd be
So
no
the-
different than if whoever is hired for that position, if he or she, it's a part-time position. They could work, that person could work part-time for Craig and part-time for the power plant or a
Right.
rancher or a farmer.
Okay.
The only thing I was gonna say is I think our allocation usually goes towards premiums, is that correct?
Allocation doesn't, yeah, that goes for premiums, grounds is what.
Improvements.
Allows us to use.
Improvements, things
Okay.
like
Yeah,
that.
improvements.
So what I'm
Not-
saying is that the additional funding that the Fair Board gets from other means, we don't have a direct connection if you used funding from,
We would have to use that. fund.
from proceeds on, you know, the
And
stuff that the fair
That's
does.
why we're not there yet, but that's why if we get there, I wanted to know if this is gonna work, you know. That's why I said, there's a lot more moving parts that gotta go together before we,
Right.
it's just the initial stages to see if we can make this work.
From initial standpoint, I don't see an issue with it, but yeah, we'd have to
We got a lot.
verify a couple things.
As a general principle, you could hire the same person to part-time there and part-time with the Fair Board. The details, we'll have to iron out.
The details of how the payment would work, payment for her or she would.
Okay.
If we can work on it, you know, so.
Okay.
Obviously can, so that's all I needed to know on it.
Any other questions or concerns that the commission
else for
has on anything? Not just the topics I talked about today, but anything else?
I think we're good. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Craig.
Thanks, Craig.
Yes.
Do you wanna call Carmen? We'll start on our portfolios.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys wanted to ask, Ashley and Terry about this bill since they're here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead, you got it in front of you.
Okay, the commission just had, questions regarding this training. It's listed as EMT research. Is that supposed to be EMR, or is it EMT research?
It's from Anna 6.
From Anna 6, and then there's also dates back from 2021.
Yeah, with all the people we have in Shipport, it takes a little while to get everybody in to get all the hours in, so she just
So she just waited and kept track and then sent us one bill.
So is it a set fee or is it based on hourly rate or,
hourly rate plus your drive time
okay,
for mileage.
okay. It just came out to a nice even number.
Yeah, so we were like,
Okay. Is there a motion to approve that bill then?
I'd make the motion that we add it to our billing.
Okay, motion by Rick, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jamie. Any discussion? Seeing none, Rick?
I vote aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. That motion passes. Okay, who wants to start with portfolios?
I can make mine quick
All right.
All
always.
right, Gene, go ahead.
I don't have much. I went to a weed board meeting last Thursday night. Nothing really earth moving or changing. Everything seems to be going okay there. But, and nothing happening in the state's attorney's office or our clerk of court. So that all seems to be going smooth right now. That's all I have.
For me, Sheriff's Department, I'll start with that. We went through pretty much everything that, other than, we discussed today, but the only other one that we haven't talked about is, Terry told me last night, we, sold, one of our,
One of our spare expeditions, we're trying to cycle out, we sold that to the police department. They have a vehicle down and they're having the same problem everybody else is, they're about 8 months out from either, they bought a new engine for it, from either getting an engine or getting another vehicle. That's gonna bridge the gap for them, so it was kind of a win-win. We got about double of what we would've got for that vehicle if we would've put it out for auction, so.
I guess, my thought process was that what we got for that car would pay for that dog that we purchased too. So we got the money in the budget.
And on the flip side,
And it helped hasten.
they were very happy with it. They said it probably is cheaper for them to do that than to just pay for repairs.
And like we've recently said too, we have $500 worth of dog food yet too. So. But no, and then, I'll continue with, Veteran Services. I stopped by and visited with, Ron, and everything's going all right in his office. He had reported no problems there. Dakota Central Services, they've, lost another one of their social workers. They have issues with, help is a big problem over there too. We have another meeting tomorrow. They'll be finding out about that. I don't know how, I did, meet some of the social workers in the county and getting a little better handle on that stuff. The recorder's office, I stopped by and visited with them also, and there's nothing new to report. Everything's other than we had our recorder fees and Fair Board, you heard some of that. We're working again, a lot of our stuff is in place. I mean, we're working towards getting ready to go. We're 3 months out already, it's 4 months. It's going fast, it just getting all the moving parts together and keep it working on it every, P&Z, the last meeting I went to, we worked on, we had the Trotter, farm plat we approved here. And we've been working on, the solar wording and stuff. There's a lot more work to do on that yet too, so that's where we're at with that. We'll have another meeting tomorrow night. The one that I have an issue with, is West Central Human Services, or whatever it is. I believe that's Custer Health. There's another meeting this month. They do them 4 times a year, and I gotta find out where, what, and how. I've been looking at different places where it's at. I did get a number today from one of the bills. My other thing, I was gonna give Wayne a call and see what I gotta do there, so. Road Department, we heard just about everything that's been going on there. That's been on the radar there, so, I don't have to go into more detail on that one, so. And that's where I'm at with my portfolios.
Okay, I'm gonna pause with the portfolios. Carmen is here. We just need to make a motion to add you as the authorized signer
Yes.
and then remove Sam.
Yep.
And then in that motion, you gotta make sure you say Sam's name is coming off, my name is going on, and it's account number 30218 as of April 1st.
Okay.
Can you state the account number again? 30218?
It's 30218.
Okay.
I don't know if you wanna just make that for a blanket as Mercer County accounts, because she'll,
You make it specific to this one and then also include any other accounts.
yeah.
Yeah, would that work for you, Carmen?
That'll work.
Okay. Liza, you taking that one?
All right.
Since you read that.
I make a motion that we remove Samantha Melberg and replace her with Carmen Reed for account number 30218, effective April 1st, 2023.
I'll second that.
Okay. So we got a motion by Liza, second by Rick. Any discussion? Seeing none. Liza?
Aye.
Rick?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. That motion passes. Should we do one as a blanket one for any other accounts?
Go for it, Liza.
I just, I thought she
She-
said.
she-
and
she-
just
she-
said
she
to
was
add
part of
it.
any
I didn't.
other account.
She did not.
I did
so-
not, I'm sorry, Sam.
Oh, that's okay. All right.
I'll make a motion that any other accounts that pertain to the auditor's office also be able to be transferred to Carmen Reed, April 1st, 2023.
I'll second that again, too.
Okay. Motion by Liza, second by Rick. Any other discussion?
Do we need to state in that motion to remove Sam and add Carmen? I think you just said add Carmen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
You gotta change it to remove Samantha.
To remove Samantha Melber.
Okay.
I'd recommend that you use the same language you used
On
on
the
the
first one.
specific bank account. That way it's uniform, and if there's a problem, call me and
Okay.
we'll get her done.
Okay. So the motion is to remove Samantha
Samantha
Melberg,
Melberg,
add
auditor's
auditor's office
office.
effective April 1. Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none. Liza?
Aye.
Rick?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. That motion passes. Any,
Giving you guys the transition.
Can can I speak at this time?
sure.
Mr. Chairman. Okay, dear Commissioners, Carmen is requesting that I vacate the position as appointed auditor before my end date. Gwenna and Carmen have made that apparent since January 1st and have been making every attempt to push me out of office. They have created an unprofessional and hostile work environment within the auditor's office ever since the Commission reinstated Gwen. Carmen has made it clear that she does not want any training from myself and refuses my assistance to help with a smooth transition. As per a phone conversation between Carmen and I on March 14th, Carmen has agreed if I were to leave office effective today, March 15th, she as the auditor-elect would pay me through the end of March, since that was my understanding from the public notice when I accepted the interim position. I would like the minutes to reflect that is what she has agreed to, and have her sign a document with conditions. Me to leave
Okay.
today.
Is ungiven, we allow her, and she's appointed, so you guys have to relieve her of her duties, or she can't. She has to stay till the 31st. But I'm saying, just for her, she'll get paid till the end of the month, but the 28th, then she has time to do whatever you gotta do, you're done, then that way she's able to check out on the 28th. Then I can get moved in there so I can get ready for the next commission meeting. That phone call, I didn't say nothing about her getting paid if she ended it today.
I asked
through
you-
the end of the month.
Okay.
There's a lot of things you said, but I told you to get your stuff done. This is what I'm requesting from the commission, what I put in writing. And it's up to you guys.
Okay.
Yes.
May I state what she in fact stated on the phone?
Go ahead.
Okay. I asked you if you would like me to leave tomorrow so that you can come into office. As long as you would pay me through the end of the month, I would be okay.
Well,
Okay,
that's the thing.
they were, that would be a commission decision, how long you get paid, okay? It's, Carmen can't even authorize that,
No,
so
I-
that's almost
I would
moot.
say though, what I requested from you guys, that it would be, 3 days. What's the big deal? But you're right, I cannot. So I'm not here,
All I can say personally, I can't speak for the commission, just personally, I would have no problem keeping Samantha whole through the March 31st, no matter if she walks out the door today or she walks out on the 28th. I personally wouldn't have a problem with that. So, and that's just me. The rest of the commission they have their own thoughts and feelings on that. So that's just where I am. So to try and end the debate going on here.
And there's no debate. There's
So-
no debate. All I want is, why stay 3 more days if you can check out? Then I have a chance to get in the office and start getting ready for the commission meeting. I have a commission meeting the following Wednesday. That is the only reason. There is no debate. And if she wants to stay till the 31st, I got no issues with that, and I'll start after the 1st.
Okay.
And that's all I'm requesting.
Todd, so she's requested effective today, Sam has?
No, I'm
Or-
not
or
requesting
you're not
that,
requesting?
since
Okay,
there was a discussion over the phone, I just wanted to clarify, and then
Mhm.
she did send out an email requesting that I leave before the end date.
okay.
And
So,
because of
so if
the-
we do nothing, it goes through the end of the month regardless? And then the
Until March
transition
31st,
happens
yeah.
the Monday after, so.
Until March 31st,
Okay,
correct.
so there's really no request formally to the commission. It's just if we wanna make a change.
Well,
The only thing that would take effect is if we would basically force a change. If, I'm not trying to, just laying it out here. If Samantha resigns today, or tomorrow, or the following day, Carmen takes over the office, effective at
By
that time.
By statute, yeah.
Yep. So, to me, if, the only decision I would understand as a commission is if we would terminate Samantha at a date prior to March 31st. That's the only thing we would do.
Okay.
We don't reinst, or give the job to, she immediately has the job. Carmen immediately has a job if we terminate Samantha's employment.
Okay.
Travis, you said Monday, but isn't it technically April 1st? Which is
It-
a Saturday,
it's-
so it's not a business day,
Right.
but
The first is on the Saturday, if it happens.
I'm good.
Just trying
If it
to,
happens on a non-business day, whether it be a weekend or a holiday, then officially it's the following Monday, first business day. And if that Monday be a holiday, then it'd be Tuesday. and
So forth, yeah.
First business day, if the first falls on something that is not a business day. There's no issue that if Sam makes her last day the 28th, then Carmen acts her by operation of the election. It throws a little bit of a monkey wrench because the state will recognize it essentially. And this came up, Jamie pointed out, I hadn't looked at the new county directory, and they put it in Carmen's starting Monday because per statute, that's what it would be. Not that it's gonna make an iota of difference because both numbers are listed. It's not something we publish, it's
it's
something.
listed differently in separate
Yeah.
places, yes.
Yeah.
Because the new Association of County book came out saying the second and the third, but the century code says the first, the election county thing says the first, so that was the only question, but if the
And
first
then-
is a Saturday.
Yeah, and then the statute deals with that. If it's a Saturday or a holiday, it's the next business day after that first.
Okay. So,
So if we,
if there's no action, then nothing changes, we just let the statute
I
go.
was just gonna ask the question is,
Mhm.
if you wanted to leave on the 28th and we paid you to the end of the,
I'm not requesting to leave.
No.
I mean, would that be a problem for you if we do that or not?
She
If
wants
we
to
paid
stay
you-
till the end of her term.
Huh?
She wants to stay.
She wants to
She wants to
till
stay
the
till
end.
the end of her term.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're talking 2 days. I mean,
Yeah, I'm just asking if that's the issue or not.
They're two non-working
Yeah.
days.
There's been a hurry to get me out of the office ever since January, so
Okay. Thanks, Carmen. All we have left is portfolios as far as mine go. Library board met last Monday in February. Things are going good. We're under budget for 22. The only concern that was brought to the library board was that one of the council members or commissioners from Riverdale showed up. They're having some issues with the building that the library is in. There's no issues where the library is located. However, there might be some repairs and or changes coming as updated as I was talking about replacing the roof and maybe updating some electrical unless they wanted to for the library. So just informational at this point, something that will work with the city of Riverdale. I have a meeting with them tomorrow in Killdeer. So I'll have updates for that at the next meeting. And most of my other things are, don't really pick up until mid-year, so that's all the updates I have. Liza?
I had airport board last night, and they got all the paperwork done and ready to be sent to the feds for the cross runway that they plan to put in. So that's pretty exciting news for them. That'll be really great to have there. Well, I guess it's a good thing they got to use their new blade that they got. And he said it took a little bit to get used to, but he said it went really well. And we approved having a PA system put in so that they can speak out to others. And that should be, they're just waiting for the speakers to come in, and then they'll be able to put that up and put that together.
Is that a PA or is that a radio broadcast on the?
PA, just
Okay.
like. can
So
speak
just
out
talk to
them.
the people on.
Yep,
there.
and the one at the heated hangar too, where they can talk into the heated hangar too.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Ambulance, I have next week, but I know we did get an email in the meantime, because we're still waiting for the new ambulance yet, for our new ambulance. And so I'll have that meeting next Tuesday. He stated that they did meet with, one of the companies that may be able to bring in the financial software. She tried to call another agency and still hadn't heard back from them, and I know Gwen was gonna try to call another one too, to have a demonstration, I don't know.
Tyler did reach back out to us to,
Okay.
but there has been discussion with them. And CPT and software innovations would be a step backwards for them, so they're looking at Tyler.
Okay. We just had Carmen in here, but she left, and she's gonna be transferring over to the auditor, so I haven't heard anything as far as what our plans are, what we wanna do for her spot. I know the 911 spot went over to Turnus,
Mhm.
but we still have that EM position.
Well, she told us that she's gonna assume some of the EM duties.
Right, but my concern is.
begin with.
Right, my concern is I don't wanna put too much on Carmen,
Yep.
when she's trying to transfer and we're trying to do budgets. So I think we really need to look at that EM
Yep,
position.
we'll discuss that with her, yep.
Okay.
But I have another question for you.
Uh-huh.
To the airport being maintained by the county, is the snow being removed? The north-south county road? I don't know
I
the
don't
county
know.
number.
Are you talking the one that goes right to the airport?
Yep, right off 200.
I don't know, I've never asked.
Okay.
I looked down at there the other day, but last week, but I didn't look today, but I don't know if it's been.
Okay.
If it has been
I don't know if
kept
it was
up,
by
I
the
can't
county or
answer
if
that.
it was by something else, I guess, is what I don't know. No?
Jamie?
Jim was in here, so we kinda got his updates, working on carpeting. No hiccups so far with the boiler or electrical, anything that's being run. Coming to the next meeting to talk. Candy, we saw her furnace bill come through. She was a little due to some piping that was unavoidable and she needs a furnace, so that's our own issues. I've sent emails, I haven't gotten in contact with them, so I need to call that, I think Jean comment often meetings, so try and reach out to them, and then, LEPC is tomorrow for March, so, and then that'll be again in the spring, or summer.
All right. That's everything we have on the agenda.
And Marvin's
Let me-
still holding
Oh.
Custer Health, I
Go ahead.
guess, so.
Yep.
Which commissioner has the clerk of court portfolio? Because I learned, Jean does,
Jean.
okay. There was talk earlier and wanted to come in because they had bills put together for both the Senate and the House of taking county clerks and making them state employees. As of last week, Thursday, that was killed in committee, both sides of the
Oh, okay,
legislature.
okay.
So,
That's good news.
I got one minute.
Well,
Brief, we touched on it today, and I don't know, I want a little clarification from Todd. It's like, the stuff with these roads, getting them clean. I wanna know what authority I have to, can I ask him to go clean this road, or
No.
get this?
here's the deal. The road superintendent works under the direction of the county commission.
correct, but, okay,
And here's the deal, that road, like I said, it's a bus route. There's a residence there. It never,
But-
it should not have went on, because it's a bus route, it should never be on minimum.
to
wage.
Rick's question is, as even, even if it's a portfolio holder, if I tell the superintendent to open up a specific road, is that overstepping my authority?
No.
Or do I need to bring that to the commission and get a full commission vote on that?
As long as you're acting, you've got that portfolio road?
Well,
Rick,
We-
it's
sure,
shared.
it's a
Shared.
shared.
It's Open the boat road. If he wants to argue with you, the other three can overrule the two of you, but
Okay.
essentially, as a portfolio holder, you're his immediate supervisor with the commission, the final say on the big questions.
Okay.
I mean,
And
but
I
I
did-
mean, it's like, I just wanna know,
You two as the portfolio shares, this gives two people who are at different ends of the county, gives more eyes covering the bigger area. If you see something that he's not doing something, or he's missing something, as the portfolio holders, you have every authority to bring it to his attention and take the corrective action. If it needs to go beyond that, then it would be the full commission. But yeah, you've got every authority in the world to say, that road needs cleaning, when are you getting to it? And with that minimum maintenance, it's a bus route. And I think it's also a mail route, I haven't got confirmation on that. Those are ones you can't declare.
well, you know, getting back to
My,
what you.
my concerns I did take to Gene and Rick before, and I just said, I will talk to him if you guys are okay with that, because I have the understanding of the area, and so I did, I'm not the portfolio holder, but I did take it to the two portfolio holders.
And there's no issue in that.
You know, the other thing too is like, you know, I was listening and I lost my train of thought, but, you know, the thing about it is that when we, it's like, we need to, I don't even know, I lost my train of thought.
How do we go about addressing them, I guess, I think is what we're trying to.
Generally, what I would do is,
The
I guess I
portfolio-
should have brought it to the full commission on this particular item and get a full commission blessing. Now, I'm not gonna make it a habit of running the road department. I want that understood, but, when a situation arises and we need to take action, like, quickly, then I, as Rick pointed out, as he's asking, is it okay if we make a determination at that point in time without getting in trouble? And clearly you've stated we can do that.
Yes.
As long as it's within,
You know, that's getting back, I guess what my question was too, is this road in question that we're talking about, we don't want, we're not gonna go do it, it's half a mile in Oliver County. Oliver County has no problems, it doesn't meet county specs, any reason we can come up to it, then tells me Oliver County has no problem cleaning it.
They've been cleaning their side of it, so I understand.
So, I mean, how does it work that, I mean, it don't make sense.
And just to clarify for even those who will be watching this, the county was, our Mercer County had been cleaning the road approximately, the road from County 20 to the yard, the Dan Green yard, is approximately 1.25 miles to 1.5 miles. The first mile off of County 20 is Mercer County Road. And they were cleaning that for 1 mile and then turning around at the section, push the snow open both east and west to turn that machine around, to turn the blade around. To continue on, of course, Gene's opinion is, and perspective, if he would just continue on down to the Dan Green yard and turn around and come back, wouldn't spend any more time and or resource of Mercer County, even though it's in Oliver County. It's, yes, and he could turn around that yard. I was escorted by a gal down to that yard, and we turned around that yard. I could turn my semi around in that yard without a problem. No backing. I wouldn't have to back. So, and I'm quite sure the blade operator has no problem turning around in that yard. So I hate to dwell on this one specific case, but it seems like that's where a lot of this conversation has been, is on this yard.
Systematic issue.
Yeah, so it's just, I just wanna clarify, if, you know, the people are gonna say, well, why is Mercer County clearing Oliver County roads? The time spent clearing the snow at the section line and turning around, continuing down this road for the quarter mile, half mile, turning around the yard and going back. We're not, it's, the resources and expense to Mercer County, it can't be more.
And
Because they
in-
pushed a lot of snow to turn
And in
around.
addition to that, with the meeting Terry and I had down there, we visited with them briefly, I brought that up. There's no problem on their side either. If we do a half mile for them, they'll do a half mile for us somewhere.
Now they're making it up some other.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
I think you guys just need to have a sit-down conversation and work this out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm mentioning all this because people will be viewing this, and, you know, the question will come up, why are we opening up an Oliver County road? It's, you go down there, to create the turnaround point, they're spending as much time and resource as to just continuing down for a quarter mile.
If they continue.
Yeah.
It's been years since I've been out there.
He answered my original question, and we'll
Yep.
take it from there.
Yep.
Okay,
So thank
So
you.
we'll-
all right,
We beat that up.
okay. Seeing none, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Yep.
I got Snoopy one that was in this too. I wonder what to roll it back up.
You can't be sprinkling paper and talking.
Yeah,
These things do
that's why I just finally said it.
Actually send that completed agreement,
Yeah, perfect, thank you. Thank you.
and we'll regain that.